Pisces rising. How you doing, Pisces? This is your reading for the Taurus full moon that's happening on the 15th or 16th of November, depending on what side of the planet you're living on right now. Today is the 15th. I work with 6-month cycles, so what comes through in these readings is going to serve you up to the new moon in Taurus, so you're not missing out on any of the energy and any of the messages that are coming through. Hello and welcome. My name's Chloe. I work with card divination, astrology, and as you just heard and as you can see, I channel multi-dimensional energies through my body, both in the form of physical and vocal light language. All of this brings in healing, attunement, and activation codes to the messages that come through in these readings. And this full moon, oh my goodness, it's conjunct Uranus and a fixed star called Algol. I'm going to get into the astrology. I'm going to be breaking it down for Pisces rising. So I work with the rising signs. For those of you who don't have Pisces in the first house, look to the house that it does fall in. Look to the themes of that house, and you want to apply those themes along with all the other meaning you've got going on in the sign of Pisces to the messages that come through, because it will be as if that Pisces energy has now energetically moved to the first house. So the astrology will still link in from the rising sign. You just got to add on your own natal chart meaning on top of it. Right, so I'm going to be breaking down the astrology for the rising sign. Pisces rising, where is this happening for you? This is happening for you in your third house. This is the house of the goddess. This is the moon's favorite place to be. So you've got this incredibly powerful, sudden liberation energy coming through with this moon in the moon's favorite place, right? So this is a beautiful energy for you, Pisces. I'm feeling very it's a mixture of just flow state and feeling quite confident and solid within myself. As I tap into your energy. And the third house represents, well, it's opposite the ninth, where the sun is in Scorpio, which I'll get to, which is all about our sort of bigger picture perspectives. And the third is where we bring it into our day-to-day, right? This is how we find meaning in our day-to-day. It is the mundane things. It's the washing up. It's the walk to the shop. It's all of those little things that we have to do that don't seem consequential, but they are. And how do we get meaning to pour into them? How do we bring those bigger ideas into the little things? It is your environmental frequency. It's the lens in which you communicate. That Taurian energy is your local community and the things that you do on a day-to-day basis. Okay, they're wanting that in a different pile. So those are the big themes around the third house. It's also about short distance trips and learning things for the first time. So with a full moon in the first, you may have already be on your short distance trip, Pisces. And with the third, the full moon in the third, there's a sudden downloads, right? Elevation of communication. Right, before I go full throttle on the astrology, I'll just let you know what's going on with the tarot. I am pulling cards for 4 piles. They're doing the energies that I work with are putting the cards in different places than usual. So it's usually 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. So the first pile is what struggle, what difficulty, what shadow work, what challenge, what part of the deeper work of integration that you've been working on, what is coming to an end, or what challenge is coming to an end. And so often with full moons, they do mark an element of completion. Right, this is the illumination of something, the ending of a cycle. But with that cycle comes a new one. As I said, I work with 6-month cycles, and a lot of what's coming through in this reading will facilitate the next 6 months of your Taurus energy. So the first part is what that sort of shadow side, that the struggles, the difficulties is being closed out. What's the end of that chapter? Second pile is what's being integrated. So the work that you've been doing, the elevation, the integration, the embodiment over the last 6 months since the Taurus new moon, what is being integrated and locked in with this full moon. The third pile is the download. What download are we getting at the full moon that's then going to unfold over the next 6 months? What's being activated? Because even though it's a full moon and it does mark an end of a cycle, as I said, like, it's then with all that wisdom and all that knowing, we then work with the new cycle, which is the full to the new moon in the sign of Taurus. So the pile 3 is what's being activated that you're then going to be working with over the next 6 months. If you want a deeper understanding of what's going on with this moon, and what's the intention of it, right, that will unfold over the next 6 months, go check out the collective reading. That is always the first one out, and that's where I break down the astrology in way more detail of how the celestial bodies are talking to each other at the exact moment, which forms an energetic blueprint that we then gets locked into us. And then we start moving around with that. So really expand on that, did a collective tarot reading as well. I'm going to touch on the major themes, but as I said, if you want a deeper dive, go check it out and come back and watch this, because the collective reading is like the baseline for what shows up here. Okay, so they're looking like they are wanting to do one card for each of the 4 piles, and the fourth first and then the second card, so which they haven't done before. So it's conjunct Uranus, sudden changes. I will get to that. Fourth pile is how to work with the activation, right? Where do you want to direct your energy? What is it do you perhaps need to work on and look at and focus on to help really amplify the intention of this moon for you? I'll also be pulling a couple of oracle cards as well, and potentially it all depends if I feel called to, and if there's time, I'm going to be pulling cards on the specific energy of what Uranus is up to as it's conjunct the moon, and also Saturn, because Saturn is, let me see, is it now? So I'm recording this on the day of the full moon. Saturn's direct now. So Saturn's gone direct, right? So we've had Saturn retrograde for a while, summertime sadness, everything that we've been cultivating with all of that, which I will expand later on in the reading. I'll pull a couple of cards on, okay, what Saturn's energy now that it's direct on the same day as this moon. So, third house full moon in the sign of Taurus, conjunct Uranus and the fixed star Algol. Now, Algol is often linked into the mythology of Medusa, right? In terms of losing one's head and off with your head, and just as well as distorted narratives, because Medusa was deemed to be a monster, but there were certain reasons why she got to that point, right? And so there's the main message that came through with Uranus, who is the path clearer, the breaker of chains, sudden shifts and changes, the liberator of your soul. Uranus wants you to be confident and comfortable walking your own path. And so we'll come along and shake your life up if there are some blockages in the way, as well as sudden eureka moments, sudden more elevated, expansive, because Uranus is kind of very galactic. It's one of the outer planets, so it's leaning more outside of the solar system than the inner part of the solar system. So it's bringing that all together, sort of very inventive energy, very sudden, as I say, sudden shifts, sudden changes. And conjunct Algol with this moon, there's a real liberation of perceptions in the head, right? Losing things from the mind that have stopped us from fully embodying in this 3D experience from a place of abundance, for our needs being met, our nourishment coming together with that moon energy. So this is a real sense of a releasing of those things in order to activate a deeper connection to being on this planet. Taurus is the first earth sign. It is our personal connection to our physical vessel, to our experience in this 3D world. You know, it's ruled by Venus. It wants us to feel good in the 3D world. We want to allow that undulating energy of enjoyment, of joy in the little things, in the things that give you nourishment. So this full moon is gonna let go of certain constructs in the mind that have blocked the body from feeling comfortable, from feeling safe, right? So I can definitely also see old wounds that our body then thinks are going to happen in situations that are similar, but it's not the same situation. I can definitely see a soothing of the nervous system to really actually genuinely pick up, letting our physical senses pick up on the truth of the reality rather than the the trauma energy that's stored in the body. And it's definitely linked into the ancestors, because this moon is trine Pluto and the wounds that they have that are in our bodies, that we're like, why am I having this response? Is often, you know, past life, ancestors, all of that kind of stuff is, for me, very legitimate. Now, in the third, full moon in the third house. So this is a real liberation around your throat chakra, Pisces, the way in which you express yourself, and the sense of liberation and perception around that. Any blockages you may have found in your early years as well, because it's linked into schools, like going to school. It's not like the advanced stages of learning. It's the beginning stages of learning. So there can be, and it's also, the third house is linked into siblings. So it's sort of we're doing some work around the throat, and then they're now at the heart chakra. Right, so often, you know, those early years, right, when we're at school can be chaotic. The drama of sibling rivalry and all of that stuff. Like, if there's anything that's sort of, I mean, which we don't even remember, like certain situations that have embedded in our unconscious mind that have blocked that, how we feel, how we find meaning, how we communicate, right? I love the third house. I think it's so important for the more that we find the resonance and the deeper meaning in the little things, the more that has the capacity to activate higher levels of the bigger things. So there can be a lot of releasing. Remember Medusa, like the letting go of certain things that are stuck in the head, stuck in the deep subconscious. The perspectives, ideas, the lenses in which we understand and what we expect from our environment, right? And really an upgrade. Oh, they're wanting to come through quite strongly with you, Pisces. I'm not surprised. Saturn's in your sign. Oh my God, let me hurry up. So, the sun and the moon are making harmonious aspects with Pluto. Ceres, who's an asteroid, who's coming into conjunction with Pluto in Capricorn, and she represents the great Earth Mother, the sense of bounty, of harvest, of nurturing and nourishment. And Pluto, this transformation, the resources, the releasing of wounds from the ancestors, the bringing up of the resources, the wisdom, the power, the magnetism, in the sign of Capricorn. And they are also making harmonious aspects with Neptune. And Neptune's in your sign, Pisces, in your first house. Now, this is forming a cradle by the aspects. And there's an energy of being rebirthed with this full moon that's in alignment with this bigger astrological energy between Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus. Now, I talk about this in a lot more detail in the Pluto in Capricorn Oracle reading. So if you want a deeper understanding about the huge fundamental archetypal collective shift in consciousness that we're going through, go check that out. Even though Pluto's moving into Aquarius on the 19th, this is like the 3 outer planets are in yin signs. They're making harmonious, free-flowing, creative, wisdom-orientated energy, communication with each other, which is, in a nutshell, is transforming our root power, our rooted power, that's Pluto, our magnetism, to work with the magical reality that truly does exist in alignment with our soul's path, Neptune, Uranus. And that's embedded in this moon that's being activated with losing the paradigms, the ideas of the algol, the fixed star, losing those things that do not serve this new entryway that we're going. Now you have Capricorn in your 11th house of hopes and dreams, friends, groups and alliances, and reaping the benefits from your 10th house. So there's an elevation now around the way that you're able to hope and dream, the way that you're able to interact with groups, friends, groups and alliances. You may be finding that you're gathering more resources as well. That doesn't have to be money, in terms of your 10th house, which is your life purpose and your career. Career doesn't have to be life purpose. It can just facilitate it. Because Ceres is about the harvest coming in. It is about nourishment, and they're making very harmonious aspects to the moon, which can see an elevation of just expansion of the dream space, right? Of the capacity to dream. And when we feel like we can dream and we're embodying it, then we're more in our flow state, and then we can feel the energetic resources around us building and building and building. That's going to mean that you're going to find more meaning in the day-to-day, right? There's just this deeper resonance of the deeper knowing within yourself that those dreams can come true. That's just going to give a bit more of a spring of a step in your day-to-day, in the way that you communicate. And because Pluto and Ceres are trine the moon, and that is an aspect of Jupiter, so it brings wisdom, it brings elevation, it unites that energy together in order to bring about more opportunities. Bringing about new opportunities for you to experience the world in a more embodied way, right? Those physical senses of Taurus. We have the sun. I'll get back to Neptune. Oh no, I'll do Neptune now. No, sun over in Scorpio, which is in your 9th house of your perspectives, right? How you map yourself out in the world, your philosophies, your morals, your ethics, your connection to source, book, religion, science, magic, all of the matrices that are bigger than you, that you're a part of, and you're just figuring it out. And what would you like things to look like, and all of that. It's how you perceive things and understand things and learn at a higher level. It is about mastering of something. It is about sharing your perspectives, because it's linked into teaching, as well as going and living places for a longish period of time in order to broaden your perspectives. And so the sun has been there for a while. You've had a real highlight of, okay, well, what do I need to look at? How do I perceive the world? And the sun is making a trine to Neptune, right? So as I said, they're making these really crisscross energies between, so the sun is sextiling Pluto and Ceres, the sun is trine Neptune and opposite the moon is trine Pluto and Ceres and sextiling Neptune. And as I said, this is all a cradle where we're being rebirthed. So there's an elevation of your perspective of being able to look into the darkness and see the truth of it. With that scorpionic energy, right? Of really being able to dig that truth out and bring it to the surface. And all of these harmonious aspects to Neptune in your first house is dissolving limiting beliefs around your embodiment of self with this magical reality, right? With it being retrograde at the moment, it really is just dissolving all of those things that have denied you access to source. Questionings of faith as well. All in order for, so this full moon is really cultivating a deeper expansion of embeddedness, right? Remember, I said this, all the outer planets, Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, they are making harmonious aspects in yin signs. This is where we cultivate, this is where we nurture, we observe, we bring depth and nuance. It is the bed of creation. And then all those outer planets next year are going to move into yang signs. They're going to move into fire and air. And so with this cultivation, with this real embodiment, this faith, this knowing, think the high priestess energy, right? It's then we're then going to be able to instinctively take action in alignment with this upgrade in our consciousness. So we have ninth house of perspectives, hopes and dreams, recultivating how you communicate with groups. So you may be bringing your communication and what you have to say to bigger groups, that may be adding on a level of confidence, a level of expansion within yourself. There's a real just heightened elevation in the way that you communicate and the downloads that you receive and your capacity to be able to bring them to others through your full embodiment of self. So when I finished the collective reading, the energies that I work with, they went, yeah, you got all of it except this one thing. And you didn't make this clear enough. That with this Uranus algal moon energy, and the moon is in her exaltation, she loves being in Taurus and she's in her favorite house, Pisces. So Pisces risings and the Pisces energy and how it connects to Taurus is always going to feel really, really damn nice with a full moon there. For example, I've got Pisces in the 8th, and I've just noticed today the relationship dynamics and the resources from the outside world have all been in a complete flow state today. It's been really elevated, right? So the 8th house of my Pisces is moved to the 1st house, and the Taurus energy is coming through in the 3rd. So, but I'm applying the theme. So for those of you who aren't Pisces rising, that's just a little example of like how you can like basically layer every single transit in every part. Anyway, I'm detouring. So what was I saying? Oh my goodness, brain freeze. Yeah, so it's the moon's favorite place to be. So there's a real elevation of your needs being met, of a deeper sense of nourishment, of a flow state of your communication, heightened levels of that was it. Thank you, brain. The thing that I missed in the collective reading, and by the way, mostly swords in the collective reading, which doubles down on one, the Uranus algal conjunction, and another astrological thing which I'll get to in a second, and I'll double confirm on that one, is that this may not resonate for everybody. As always take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Not every message is always in alignment with where you're headed and what you're doing. That there are going to be lots of upgrades or downloads in terms of working with the unseen realms, with the multidimensional sphere. That, you know, I had the movements that I do got activated nearly 4 years ago, and it was wild. It was like, what on earth is going on? This is weird. Like, I was cool with it, but I knew that it was fundamentally, by society's gaze, damn weird, right? And so they said that there's going to be a lot more activations happening, and there's going to be a lot more situations where you're going to find yourself in environments that you may have hidden all of that from. That you're going to find yourself in situations where it's going to come out more naturally because you've got a lot of protection and a lot of support to integrate it into this into more less, and it's never going to cause you harm. There may be some disruption, but that's always going to lead to a deeper unfolding of something. And always trust your gut on when that's right, because that download isn't about, oh, I must push myself in every situation. Say you do light language or any other form of channeling that others may think might be to do with the devil, or you know what I'm talking about. That don't then push yourself. Let it flow. Let's see what comes up. But you are going to, if those situations do come up and you're intuitively in alignment with it, you're going to have a lot of protection, a lot of support. And it was interesting because that message kind of came through with the Libra Aries cycle that we just had, of we're more confident now. We're able to step into our power and be able to go into spaces without losing our mind over it or fear of repercussions of what may happen. Now, Venus rules this moon, and it's Venus's day here in the UK. For half of the world, I think from Eastern Europe and going east, it will happen. This is happening on a Saturday, which is Saturn's day, and for the other half of the world, it's happening on Venus's day, which is today, Friday. And so Venus rules this moon, and Venus is in the sign of Capricorn, hanging out with Pluto and Ceres. And Capricorn's ruled by Saturn. So Saturn is Saturday, right? Saturday is Saturn's day. So then we've got this combination of Venus and Saturn, of a maturity around how we connect, our relationship dynamics, how we find creativity and joy and love and harmony. We've got a level up here around that's really serving us in terms of the long-term expression of self, right? And our long-term goals with that Capricorn energy. Venus in the 11th in the sign of Capricorn, this you just feeling more in your flow, feeling good, feeling vibrant when you're in groups. There may be often this can be feminine energy coming in and letting you know how good, what your life path is, your career, and like reaping the benefits via the feminine energy that is not sex specific. We all have it. Getting more creative, having more connection, more sense of appreciation and value, and like harmonizing those hopes and dreams and really elevating that, and just feeling there's the charm factor when you're out and about with groups. So in terms of career, I could definitely see a sort of your capacity to bring messages to bigger groups come out in whatever way, because every career has magic in it, because the whole universe is magic. It's not just pulling cards, it's absolutely everything. And so I can really see with that ninth house of perspectives, where the sun is, an elevation in the way that you communicate, in the way that you find meaning, giving you deeper resonance of being here on this planet, that's allowing you feeling more comfortable within yourself, that's allowing more access to be more authentic and expressive with bigger groups, that's having a feedback loop into Saturn, right? Because this Saturn rules Capricorn, and so it's influencing Venus and therefore influencing this moon. And Saturn is in your sign, Pisces, and has gone direct as of today. And I wondered why we were all feeling a bit better. I did know it was happening today, I just didn't check. Anyway, we've been cultivating in Saturn in the first. Trust and believe, when you get through this transit, you will feel so much, and you're probably feeling it already because we're coming towards the end of this cycle with Saturn being in Pisces, of feeling really in your power, right? Saturn's about your own authority. It can often impinge in authority in order for you to recalibrate towards it. It's about commitment, legacy, duty, responsibility, maturity. Great things for a first house transit, where your embodiment of self, like who you are, how you take action, right, is getting a level up of like, okay, no, it doesn't mean no fun. It just means like a real sense of strength within yourself. And now it's going direct. So everything that you've been sort of working through and revisiting and cultivating has been over the summer while it's been retrograde is now moving forward. We're now seeing more momentum. And so Saturn's influencing Venus, of like you being seen in a very mature, from a place of authority, that Saturn, in terms of groups, right? In terms of your actions and your deeds being seen, in terms of how your career and your life path is going and what benefits you reap, because there's this energy of authority around you. There's this energy of maturity with that. And also Saturn is about longer, like understanding cause and effect, of really being able to facilitate through your actions, through your embodiment, a deep-rooted intuition about the actions that will serve your hopes and dreams that you can apply on the day-to-day. Right, third house, Taurus energy. Now, Pisces, you are traditionally ruled by Jupiter. So whereas Jupiter's over in Gemini, and Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and whereas Mercury's in Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter. So even though this is a Taurus moon ruled by Venus, it is being governed by Mercury and Jupiter, because they are in what's called mutual reception. They're in each other's realms. They are facilitating each other's journeys, right? They are psychic hotlining each other. And you have Gemini in the 4th house, and Sagittarius in the 10th house. So Jupiter is in your roots and your foundations, your ancestors, both blood and soul lineage, right? It's the root system of the tree that is in the natal chart. Your parental figures, the roof over your head, your inner world, your private life. Jupiter's helping you feel good in your home life. You're getting a lot of downloads. Like just a real sense of integration in your root system, a realignment of your root system, strong foundations. Love Jupiter in the 4th. I've done a Jupiter and Gemini transit series. Go check that out. You won't have it for another 12 years. Tap into that energy, because that's lovely in the 4th. Expansion of the home, your understanding of security, safety, of what you're capable of, right? Really high level wisdom coming through when you're in your inner space and when you're at home. So Jupiter's all about wisdom and faith and knowing. It's also ease and generosity of spirit. Mercury up in your 10th in Sagittarius, heading towards its retrograde, is in your 10th house of your life purpose, your career, visibility, reputation, how the big outside world sees you. It's also linked into bosses. So if you think of the root system at the 4th, the leaves at the top of the 10th are from the top of the tree where they're striving towards the sun, because the 10th is where the sun was at the height of its arc on the day that you were born. So it's all about big sun energy, where you're headed, what you're striving for. And so we have this, again, Mercury, Jupiter, wisdom, perspective, ideas, information, how we share it, how we work with it. They're in cahoots with one another. They're ruling this moon, which is conjunct Uranus, liberating energy from the head, Algol, right? Of elevating perspectives. So your home life, your root system, right? It doesn't have to be the literal home. It's just your sense of strength and foundations within your rooted energy, right? We need a strong root system in order to grow and expand. And where you're headed and your life purpose are all feeding into your day-to-day, right? And your capacity to expand and move in the day-to-day that facilitate that, right? I'm really enjoying the energy that's coming through while I'm talking about this, Pisces. So yeah, we've got this kind of mercurial energy, ideas, perspectives, which is why it wasn't all too surprising that mostly swords came out in the collective reading, because this is a real breaking out of the mindscape, right, of the cage of the mind. Jupiter in Gemini's card is the 8 of Swords as well, which is all about being the awareness of being trapped in an illusion. Now, what else do I want to talk about? Venus. Venus is square the nodes. Okay, so she's squared Aries and Libra And she's ruling this moon. So this is tying this in with the Aries Libra eclipse cycle. It's all about your sense of value, your resources, as well as your relationship dynamics and the resources of the outside world. And she's doing it from your hopes and your dreams. So it's an elevation and a building from a heightened state of sense of value within yourself. Mars, who rules the sun traditionally in Scorpio, is over in the sign of Leo, and they are also in what's called mutual reception. So we've got Jupiter and Mercury in mutual reception governing the moon, and Mars and the sun are in mutual reception, which is influencing obviously the sun side of the Scorpio energy. And so we have this beautiful frequency around so the sun in Scorpio of your perspectives, Mars in Leo in your sixth house of the adult in the room. Mars loves being in the sixth. It's its favorite house to be in. So you've got two of the celestial bodies in their favorite places. Mars is going to go retrograde in December. So we're going to have this long, drawn out Leo Cancer energy with Mars for a while. I will be doing that transit series. But at the moment, Mars is direct, even though it is heading towards its retrograde. And it's in its favorite. Mars loves a job to do. Mars has got a lot of energy and very independent as well. Sixth house is work, how you work, physical health, routines, co-workers, and therefore cooperation, collaboration, pets, and therefore acts of service. So Mars is there, right? Right, this is Mars and the sun combined with everything that I just talked about is like, let's put this all into action. Let's go. Let's step up to the plate. So the sun is saying, hey, this is the true reality. This is your true reality. This is your true reality. This is the deep, intense loyalty that I'm going to stick to because I've gone into the darkness and I've found the real truth. And now Mars is putting that into action from the heart. Right, that Leo energy from the heart of working together. Mars is also trine and sextile the nodes. So whereas Venus will square the nodes, which is an aspect of Mars rule, which can bring conflict, drama and frustration with that energy, but it is in essence about friction and therefore building. It is all about building. It just takes a little more effort. Whereas Mars is free-flowing trines and sextiles. That's allowing a heightened flow state with the way that you work in alignment with a heightened understanding of your own value and a releasing of limiting beliefs around resources and relationship dynamics that do not work with that. And this is what we're being rebirthed into your day-to-day, into the way that you express yourself, into the way that you just sort of put it all into practice. I love the third house. I really, really do. It's always... It just feels so powerful, and I know in a lot of traditional astrology it's kind of like not really a significant house, but if you nail the day-to-day, like everything else falls into place with the mundane things, the things that we just have to do. If we find our movement, our flow with that, and that just ripples. My whole body's just sort of rippling with energy right now. Right, we're just getting one more card for the Saturn energy. I think this is going to be one of my longest readings that I've done for a while, Pisces. I'm really enjoying the energy. Diana, is there anything else that I wanted to say? Ooh. Just looking at the charts. I think that really is everything. Let's get these, I know, when I get on a roll, I can't help myself. Duela diani moyana, dishani moyana, dishana moyani moyana, iana go. I've seen very few of these cards. I like it when that happens, because often they'll flip out and I'll see them. But yeah, genuinely, it's gonna be a big surprise. Ooh, okie dokie. So, let us get on with the tarot. Right, Pisces, this is what's being closed out, right? The end of a chapter. We have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse and the World in reverse. So this is not feeling, you've been potentially going through a cycle, or being aware of this energy within you and doing the process of working through it and coming to resolution and integration. It doesn't necessarily have to be external, but it may have shown up in external ways of just not feeling the love in the day-to-day, not feeling that the capacity to nurture. Queens bring new, they really take care, and they develop and they cultivate, and so with the Pentacles, it's this sense of like the day-to-day of like understanding a longer term goal and doing the little things on a day-to-day basis, seeing your inner energy in the way that you move through the world as feeling abundant, very caretaking, just perhaps feeling that your resonance with the meaning that you have in the day-to-day feeling a bit blocked, and feeling just that there's been a dampening down of the resources, of this sense of feeling abundant, feeling fertile, feeling in your body, feeling connected to the earth, and being able to cultivate your day-to-day and really bring that meaning in. And the World is Saturn, right? So, and this is in reverse, and this is sort of a disconnection from self and how you move through the world and how you find that meaning, how you communicate, because the World does mark the sense of the more that you know yourself, the more that the world opens up to you. So you may have felt quite restricted, and there's been some limitations. You just sort of like a stumbling block of I'm just feeling like a wall of resistance, like instead of this being a liberating energy of the zero, of anything is possible, of just this figure's bound and they're upside down and they don't really know what's going on, and there's sort of a distortion of perspective. And these two cards generally do sort of sum up what I've sort of talked about in terms of the astrology of the blockages around the physical body, knowing that it's living in an abundant reality, because that frequency is there. It's just we have a lot of dense matrices that get in the way of us truly embodying it, and this is kind of highlighting that this is coming to an end. And with that Saturn retrograde as well, like of who am I, what do I even say, like how do I move, who do I be, right? That with that Saturn in the first. Oh, this is lovely. Okay, so this is what's being embedded, like the coming to an not an end, but coming to an integrated completion and embedded in your vessel, that's now like kind of getting locked in with this full moon for you. We've got the Ten of Pentacles and the Ace of Cups. Now, the Ten of Pentacles is like, right, we're building for the long-term legacy, right? The frequency that you're operating on is serving you in the long term, and it's working with both the spiritual and the mundane, because we've got the like nuclear family and then the elder with all the esoteric symbols, and it's a city, right? So your day-to-day, you're going out and about, but cities take forever to build. So there's something around longevity here that's come in with this like hold up restriction, like do not pass energy that's here. because you've gone through that cycle, because you've been working through this, and there's a shift of energy now that is that process has got to this. With the Ace of Cups, right? So we've got Earth and Water, Scorpio and Taurus, a renewal of energy and overflow. This is feeling very peaceful in your perspective, seeing the abundance, realizing that your resources in many ways are entering into a state of abundance, like that overflow rather than the restriction that is here. This is such a lovely combination of cards to have as this full moon of like I said at the beginning, like your energy is very, there's a flow to it, but there's an innate inner confidence, and that's this. Okay, what's been activated? Oh, yes, get in. So this cycle, this is the energy that is being activated that you're going to be working with over the next 6 months, right? What's the download? I love this. 10 of Wands in reverse, 5 of Wands in reverse, with this integrated in your embodiment. So this is all fire, right? Thinking of that Aries energy in your second of your skills and your tools, how you bring in regular income. Your fire energy is your work houses, with Leo, with Mars over in the 6th of how you work, 10th house of life purpose, career. Career doesn't have to be your life purpose. It can just facilitate it. So this is this is such a great activation with this embodiment of your day-to-day and how you communicate, right? The lens in which you understand and express yourself, the way that you find meaning in the day-to-day, and also with all that energy over in Pisces of know thyself, right? Of really like now we're moving forward. This moon is bringing in a cycle of releasing the sense of burden, the weight, the heaviness of never going to be able to get where I need to go, always doing all the work, feeling exhausted, feeling burnt out, cannot enjoy my life, cannot even see that it's a beautiful day. That's that in the upright. This is in reverse. 5 of Wands is competition. Movement but no momentum, a lot of conflict, just sort of frustrating energy, things, lots of ideas, not necessarily going anywhere or getting anywhere. Just overall, it's not quite the 5 of Swords, but it's just genuinely quite a intense energy that is just annoying, frustrating. And it's fire, so it's your instincts because of what's been embedded here, right, in the yin energy, right, of when we surrender and go into yin mode. That's when our true yang outward manifestation action comes through, right? And the moon, this whole spread is confirming that, of like, this is going to give you such momentum. There's fluid energy coming through here with this one, and this can be like competition with work, just feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders with that 10 of Wands, like Atlas, shifting. And so the lightness of your day-to-day, as I said, third house for me is one of, like, they're all the houses are important, but the third house is a really easy access point that then ripples the energy. Say if you don't know what you want to do for your life, or where you're headed, or relationships, focus on trying to find that resonance of flow in the simplest, smallest of things, and that will flow out into the big things where you won't even have to really plan or work it out. Okay. Wait, do I want to do the bottom of the deck? What was at the bottom of the deck? So this was the card that was at the bottom of the deck before I pulled the cards for Uranus and Saturn. We have the 5 of Pentacles in reverse. So that is kind of all of this summed up, right? Not feeling left out in the cold, not feeling isolated, not feeling like you've got the resources that you need, or that no one's hearing you. The disconnect, right? I'm talking about a lot of the upright things here. The disconnecting from society, from your local community, from the meanings that you find, feeling so run down, exhausted, that this is like pure survival mode, the 5 of Pentacles. It's in reverse. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Right, okay, how to work with and amplify this energy. We have the 9 of Wands in reverse and the King of Swords. So this, burnt out, exhausted, or you're the only one. Why is this not focusing? There. Oh, Ooh. Okay, sorry. This is a new layout for me. I've completely shifted my whole paradigm and I'm still getting used to it. So Nine of Wands is always on the defensive, exhausted, burnt out, still standing, but it's not a fun place to be. This is showing up in reverse, and it's saying you need to focus on the fact that this energy isn't real. This is the reality. How can we, right, but say people are coming at you, people say you're saying things and people are getting all conflict. Do you need to be on the defensive? Are there other ways of navigating it? Right? That's just the focus on the communication side of it. This also can just feel like you're the one doing the heavy lifting and the day-to-day and you've not got any support. And rather than ruminating on that, stepping into a frequency of I am abundant, I have the energy to do these things, I want to do these things, rather than they need to be done. But overall, it is really trying to let you know, got to focus on the fact that we do not need to be in this energy, that this energy is not sticking around. Look at this spread. This is wild. With the King of Swords, so there's a real clarity of sovereignty of your mind, right? So this is get in line, so often, right, we know, and then there's the scatterbrain, and then there's the monkey brain, and then there's the other things and these thoughts that feel really strong, but there's that little nagging King of Swords in the back of your head that's just going, that's bullshit. Hold space for that King of Swords. This is Aquarius, that's in your 12th house, right, which is your like the magic of your soul. Also lots of difficulties there in the unconscious spaces, but it's saying there's a need to go to get into a state of alignment with your thought processes. But I do feel you're going to get a lot of downloads as well. Observe them and follow the clarity of it and take action on the downloads. Okay, so what is Uranus up to in Taurus for you? We've got the Knight of Swords and the Wheel of Fortune. So Uranus is calling is bringing you into the embodiment, right? I love this. And I love that it's swords, right? Because it's a shift of perspective of acting on this King of Swords. So Uranus is liberating you, is allowing you to move past all this conflict energy in the clouds and in the trees, right? It's same clouds as the Five of Swords, and this Knight of Swords is going past it, right? Bye Five of Swords. And there's a real sense of, as I say, knights embody their action, right? Embody their ideas. So it's about implementing and having the motivation, the drive, the action to get up and go and do things. We've got the Wheel of Fortune. This is the Jupiter card, and this is acknowledging that Uranus is shifting something, probably quite suddenly, because Uranus can be very sudden changes. Of fate changing in your favor, right? The wheel going up. It's a very positive card when it's in the upright. There's this element of your environmental frequency shifting that's serving you. There may be situations around you that are not in your control, that are coming into an alignment that is helping you see that there are more opportunities, there's more experiences coming through, however it resonates, as well as the way that you communicate as well, from a place of generosity and openness and wisdom. But overall, your actions and the environment is shifting and changing. You've got more energy, there's more awareness and knowing within yourself that the things are changing, things are shifting. So what is Saturn up to? In your first house, we have the Seven of Wands in reverse and the Two of Cups. Seven of Wands in the upright. This figure is standing on the hill. They have the higher ground. Do they look like they know it? Do they? I had that in focus. They don't. They look really unsteady. They're like, oh my God. It's almost like they've forgotten that they've got the advantage, that they have something of value. And this is like a very archetypal energy of our species, right? We have forgotten that we are loved and that we are valued and that we are of value just for existing, really. And so I love it when it shows up in reverse, because it's this awareness of your own value, right? Your perspective's changed. This guy's now standing on his head and he's shifted his perspective and he's aware that he doesn't need to be in competition mode. He doesn't need to be in fight mode. He doesn't need to be in unsteady about his own sense of value. And this is all kind of pulling back to Venus, the ruler of this moon, squaring the nodes. North node in Aries, in your second house of your value, how you value yourself and your skills and tools. So there's with this Saturn, the Saturn vibe, right, is the sense of self, the embodiment of self. Like, you know, you're walking your talk now, and you're more in union with yourself with this Two of Cups, right? This is a sense of respect, honor, and dignity. It's the integration of the masculine, feminine spirit, and we obviously all have that within us. And this is in your first, right, of Saturn. And so there's this real sense of union of through love and respect and love of self in a really healthy, beautiful way. Pisces, this reading is giving me life. Okay, oracle cards. What have we got? We have mindful group think. Right, where's the book? And we'll do the bottoms of the decks as well. Right. Such a lovely card. Such vibrant energy. There's that tree growing and secrets. The key unlocking the root system where you've got Jupiter. Right. And the key that I'm just feeling like there's a lot of communication that's coming through. There we go. Sorry, I'm just messing around with the bazoon. Keeping a clear mind, hurtful thoughts, groupthink. Before I even go any further, Venus in the 11th of friends, groups, and alliances, right, influencing this moon, is very much a release of conditioning from group mentalities. With this Uranian energy. Because Uranus is very independent, right? It genuinely is it can be quite contrary in its independence, but it is about not being blocked by the expectations of others that do you no favors. The human mind can be so many things: a prison, a latrine, a circus, a temple, a cave. It can be a place of restriction or a place of never-ending expansion. Right now, be careful of where you wander in your mind. The quality of your thoughts is key, as you're in a fertile time for full manifestation. You want to ensure that the seeds you plant will sprout and flourish in the life you seek to grow. Be mindful, then Venus in hopes and dreams, in alignment with this moon of communication. Be mindful not to scatter weeds. Although dandelions, they are glorious. They have so many nutrients and minerals in them that we need. And nettles. Oh, I'm so here for nettle tea. It's easy to be influenced by others right now too, especially in our digital age. It's hard to protect yourself from the energy. And the sheer amount of information bombarding you 24/7. If you allow all the fear and uncertainty to pollute your mind and emotions, you will fill yourself up with this negativity and then see more of it in the outer world. I feel like this energy is linked into what's being closed out. Stay out of gossip and other forms of groupthink, for when you cut another person down to their level due to their perceived mistakes or limit them by your envy, you activate lack for yourself. So fill yourself with thoughts of plenty. Imagine your universe unfettered by scarcity and alive with abundance, hope, and goodness. Be mindful of what your mind is full of and keep the faith. That's definitely Jupiter in your fourth. Good brings more good, love more love, gratitude more things to be grateful for. Now, what is at the bottom of the deck? And I mean, that's just a general, I'm going to take that on board as well. A general useful tip with the third house of communication, of like, how are you communicating? And what I feel like this is saying is that a lot of this is being pulled away with these two cards. But we obviously still have to then do the work to really integrate the downloads. But I think the sense of what that this card is suggesting towards the end of that reading, that That's the energy that's coming through, that's far more accessible. Far, far, far more accessible with this moon. But it genuinely is up to us to then implement it. Right, crown games, leadership, responsibility, accountability, right use of power. There is a game of power played by all people, whether they're conscious of it or not. It concerns who has it and who doesn't, how to get more of it and how not to lose that which you have, how to wield it wisely and not get drunk with it and cause harm. These are the matters you need to ponder now that you find yourself in the crown games too. You want to be on top, the best, the most effective, the most beloved. You may discover that your deep desires to help others is disguising the underpinnings of the complex game. Power and all it entails can be both dangerous and productive, destructive and redemptive. Which will it be for you? Can you forgive without condoning and keep your dignity when challenged? Will you be accountable, amenable to change or making amends? Can you let go of your need to rescue others? Lead with humility while letting others discover their way home. Now you're learning that empowerment comes with a price and a sacrifice for sovereignty. This is a time to pick your battles. Use strategy and temper your reactions. I think this is helpful with this and how to work with that 10 of Wands and the 5 of Wands in reverse. You have the power to make a beautiful difference on behalf of others. Can you see power as a currency that you must spend judiciously? True power is stewarded wisely, for it is given from the divine, not from the ego. In all your relations, the greatest beauty is when power is shared. If you're in a high position, it's even more important to be kind and respectful. Ask for guidance. It will come when you choose compassion over your own goals and desires. When you stop caring about who wears the crown, true success and influence appears for you. Okay, so I was just getting a transmission. They wanted me to explain this card to you of that this is about the power of distortions over the way in which we communicate. I'm getting some throbbing in my head now. The things are being released that's allowing for the nature of this card, what this card is calling for, to come through, that is inherently a part of your essence. Taurus can be pretty stubborn. It's a fixed sign. It's Earth. It's a bull, right? It can be pretty stubborn. I say that as someone, most of my chart's fixed, so I'm aware of the stubbornness and I've had to do a lot of work with it. My mutable sun certainly helps that out. And obviously your rising sign is mutable, so there's the capacity to adapt and change. But that's just sort of coming to the surface. Just heard there's some whispers in the dark recesses of the mind that are being vanquished. There's been an intense process going on with the Scorpio transit that is helping release these. And with Pluto, the alignment is coming through. Where there is balance in the way in which we wield power. And communication is fundamental. Okay. There are many jewels that you're going to be discovering that will help you access parts of yourself that have been locked and allow for the unfolding of the embodiment. Woo. Okay. From Rainbow Brainskull, it's one of my favourite oracle decks at the moment. It came in time for the Scorpio readings, for the Scorpio full moon, new moon. Who cares if we become nothing? We were all once nothing. Dinimo, that one's come out a fair amount actually. Dishinimo, you are currently borrowing atoms from Earth. And it didn't cost a thing. This life is all betting with house money. Try not to take it all too seriously. Let it go. I really like that because obviously we can go through some difficult times, right? And we can have some intense stuff happen. And we know we've lived some intense lives in previous incarnations, and that energy's just rooting around, rocking around in us somewhere. And we're just like, can we just breathe? Can we just lean into the fact that, dust to dust, and that nothing genuinely matters, but it all matters very much so. But I really like that energy of soothing. It's very soothing to the soul, that is allowing more, as I said, that embodiment to come through of feeling good in the 3D world when we're not in a hyper stress mode, a hyper active mode of the expectations. Love. Out argue bad narrative in head. The image of that is fantastic. Ishinima. Dianimo to fianima. Dishinimo to fianima. Dishinimo to fit at inimo to. Just heard the whispers that they said in the mind are being cleansed in 5, 4, eat at it 3, eat at it 2, eat 1, eat at to. Dalia Diania doet at it at it Disha ni moyala di alama it at it to. Dishinima, process complete. Ishalimoto fialama dishinia. If you argue for your limitations, you will be allowed to keep them. Both sides can always be argued. Defend the future you wish for. Hello, Venus in the 11th of hopes and dreams. Whether you believe you can or you believe that you can't, you're right. Ishali dia tu eta tini adianimo to anima. Yala dianimo to shinema. Dynama. Hut. Janima. Dom demo to shinima nima. That ichanima o tufala. Well, Pisces, I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it resonated. I certainly have had some fun with this one. Lots of very interesting channeling came out for you. If you liked it, hit that like button. Brings me, honestly, so much joy. I'd love to hear from you. If you want a personal reading, my details are everywhere. It can be about anything. Could be a deeper dive on what just happened here. But other than that, Pisces, be good to yourselves. Be good to those around you. I just had pop into my head. North Node's heading into your sign soon, Pisces. Safe travels and be well until we meet again. After that Saturn transit, get in. Ishali dienima.